on his deathbed, during his last few hours of life. He called my brother and me to his bedside and told us how Captain Morstan died. He confessed that he was full of regret for Captain Morstan and his daughter. So he planned to give half the Agra treasure to Miss Morstan. And he intended to give her a valuable pearl necklace as compensation.
Then why did Miss Morstan receive only 1 pearl each year? Was this your idea of compensation, or was it some kind of test?
That is exactly what I'm about to tell you. Just as my father was going to tell us where the treasure was hidden, he suddenly stared at the window and screamed in a hoarse voice.
"Don't let him in! For God's sake, keep him out!"
We followed his gaze. A bearded, hairy face pressed against the glass, with wild, bright eyes. We rushed to the window, but the man had gone. When we returned to our father's bed, he had stopped breathing. A look of panic and fear remained on his face.
As he speaks of his father's death, a twitchy smile keeps flickering across his face. It is not a comforting smile, only pain barely concealed. A chill runs down your spine.
That night, we searched the whole garden. But we found no trace, except for a single footprint below the window. Without that footprint, we might have thought the mysterious man was an illusion.
You notice an important detail and can't help interrupting.
Why did you not call the police? You knew someone was outside the window, yet you took no precautions?
My father was terribly paranoid, and he would never allow us to call the police. And we were so scared at the time that we didn't even think he was still there.
He knew these unwelcome visitors were not just after his life, but also his secret.
Thaddeus Sholto's face grows pale, as if Holmes has read his mind.
The next morning, we found my father's room in great disorder. All the cupboards and boxes were opened. A note was fixed to one box, with the sign of the 4 scrawled across it.
Thaddeus took a yellowed sheet from a notebook and gave it to us all. You exchange a glance with Sherlock Holmes. He takes the paper and then takes out Miss Morstan's note. He places the 2 notes side by side on the table.
Besides the sign of the 4 being exactly the same, both notes were written by the same person. One has neat handwriting, while the other is messy. But handwriting habits cannot lie.
Thaddeus Sholto is shocked. His eyes are wide with shock. He leans back, as if to avoid the notes.
These notes!
Mr. Sholto, please finish your story first. We will tell you the rest of the information later.
Yes. After this incident, my brother and I both thought the intruder might have failed. My father was a very careful man. If he wanted to hide something, no one would find it easily. For years, my brother and I searched the entire house, but we found nothing. Out of guilt, I insisted on sending the pearl necklace to Miss Morstan as a belated compensation from our family. But my brother Bartholomew strongly opposed it. He said the man who left the sign of the 4 must be watching us like a ghost. If we sent such valuable pearls all at once, it would be like announcing we had found the treasure, or at least a clue. It would put us, even Miss Morstan, whom we have never so much as met, in unimaginable danger. We argued countless times about this, and finally my brother agreed to send 1 pearl every year. That way, Miss Morstan could go on with her ordinary life, and it won't attract the intruder's attention.
Mr. Sholto, you are a kind man.
Thaddeus shakes his head slightly, a bitter look on his face.
You flatter me, Miss Morstan. I've only been keeping safe the fortune that ought to have been yours. My heart has never felt at peace. But my brother Bartholomew thinks quite differently. I grew tired of our endless arguments, so I left Pondicherry Lodge to live alone.
Did you write to Miss Morstan today because you found a clue to the treasure?
Yes, my brother Bartholomew found it. He is a keen science lover. He worked out the total cubic space of the whole house and measured every corner carefully. He found the building was 74 feet high. He also measured the height of each room and the thickness of every floor. All these measurements add up to only 70 feet. 4 feet are missing.
A logical guess quickly forms in your mind. Every inch of floor and ceiling space has been measured exactly. So those missing 4 feet must be...
Is the treasure hidden in the basement?
We had that idea before, but we searched the basement thoroughly and found nothing. So my brother measured the height of the house, from the foundation to the roof. He knocked a hole in the ceiling of the top room. And there, sure enough, was another little garret above it, sealed up and known to no one. In the centre stood the treasure chest, resting upon 2 rafters. The jewels inside are worth at least £500,000.
This wrong deduction is very valuable, Watson. Major Sholto probably used people's fixed idea that treasures are always hidden underground. He did the opposite and hid the treasure in the roof instead. Your father was indeed as careful as you said.
You all stare at one another in astonishment at this enormous sum. If Miss Morstan gets her part of the treasure, she will soon go from being a poor governess to the richest heiress in England. You congratulate Miss Morstan, but it is only a formality. You feel an indescribable distance between you and her.
As soon as I learned the treasure had been found, I wrote to you at once, Miss Morstan. I hope to return to you your fair share of the Agra treasure. Unfortunately, Bartholomew remains very stubborn. That is why I invited you all here. I hope to recover Miss Morstan's rightful share of the treasure, with your witness and help.
Mr. Sholto, you have done well from first to last. Though I still have some questions to ask you. But it is late, and we must not delay any longer.
Everyone gets to their feet. Thaddeus puts on a thick rabbit-skin coat. The carriage is already waiting outside, and you all get in.
Mr. Sholto, while we travel, could you tell us more about your father after he returned to England? Did he show any strange or unusual behavior?
Yes, one thing was certainly odd. Early in 1882, my father received a letter from India. He only glanced at it, but he began to tremble, and his face turned pale. From that day on, my father's health got worse very quickly. His old problem with his spleen got much worse, and he fell very ill.
What was in the letter? Did you see it?
I do not know. My father threw it straight into the fire after reading it. I only saw for a moment that the letter was short, and the handwriting was scrawled. In fact, my father had seemed afraid of something ever since he came back from India. He never went out alone. He even hired 2 prize fighters as bodyguards. Williams, who drove you here tonight, is one of them. Father never told us what he feared. But I noticed he had a strong dislike of men with wooden legs. Once, he even shot a harmless British tradesman who had a wooden leg. We had to pay a large sum to keep the matter quiet.
Thank you for your clear account. These details match some of my earlier guesses. Now we only need to reach your brother's house. When we find the treasure, we will also uncover the truth of the past.
It was nearly 11 o'clock when we reached our destination. The fog that had lingered earlier had gradually dispersed. A cool night wind blew, moving heavy clouds aside and showing half a moon. In the dim moonlight, it is just possible to see. Thaddeus Sholto asks his servant to light a lantern to guide you. Pondicherry Lodge stands in the centre of its own grounds. A high stone wall, topped with broken glass, surrounds the lodge. The only entrance is a single narrow door with iron clamps. The servant steps forward and knocks on the door.
Who is there?
A gruff voice calls from inside the door.
Mr. Thaddeus Sholto is here, with friends.
A grumbling sound and the clank of keys come from inside. The door is pulled open a crack. A stocky man blocks the doorway. The lantern in his hand clearly lights up the wary expression on his face.
Good evening, Mr. Thaddeus. Who are these people? The master gave me no orders about visitors tonight.
They are my friends.
I am very sorry, sir. You know the master's rules. No strangers may enter without invitation. I can let you in, but your friends must stay outside.
Thaddeus is speechless for a moment, then grows angry.
This is too bad of you. If I guarantee them, that is enough for you, isn't it?
The situation remains deadlocked for a moment.